How many podcasts have you listened to? How many books have you read? How many YouTube videos have you watched, yet you still feel stuck? This is the problem I see so many women going through, is that they've listened to everything, they've done all the work, they understand all the things, yet they still don't know how to get through this feeling of hopelessness. They're just thinking, one more thing, one more bit of information, one more thing that I need to learn in order to crack the code, to understand everything, and I'll finally be healed. Well, I'm going to tell you that's not how it works. And what you're suffering from is a pattern that is going to continually destroy you unless you learn to break it. Hey, my name's Jaden, and if you're new here, I'm an emotional intelligence coach working with women, helping them go from chaos to clarity. So I'd love for you to like and subscribe. Let's jump into it. So let me guess, you're stuck in a situation, whether it be at work, in a relationship, something going on in your life where you feel out of control over, where someone's causing you harm, or maybe you're causing them harm. Maybe you're the dysfunctional one in the relationship. Maybe things just aren't going the way that you want, and you want to break free from it. You want to break out of it. You're realizing things aren't quite right. And so you start reading books. You start listening to the podcasts, watching the videos, consuming personal development over and over and over again. Yet the things aren't changing. You know a lot, but nothing's changing. So what's actually happening here? Like, why haven't you had the breakthrough yet? Like, what's going on? Well, what I call this is infobesity. And essentially what it means is that we find ourselves gorging on information, over-consuming information. We're swelling up, we're getting fat on information, but we're not doing anything with it. Now, I'm going to put my hand up here and say I was stuck in this pattern for years of thinking I just needed to go to another training, take another course, get another coach, whatever it was, until I finally realized that I was the one getting in my way. You see, what happens is when we're suffering from infobesity, it's a lie that we tell ourselves. We think we're being really productive. We think that we're making change in our lives. But what we're doing, as I said, is just gorging on information, and that tricks ourselves into thinking that we're being productive and moving forward, but we're not. We've accumulated information, but still the root cause problem is there. And the fact is that we don't know how to pull the trigger. We don't know how to take the action. We don't know how to apply the information that we've been gorging on. And so it stays stuck there. Sure, you could probably tell me all your traumas, all the reasons why you are the way that you are. Maybe you've completely figured out your partner inside and out. You understand all of his patterns, right? You look at your boss at work, or you look at your mother or father, and you just think, that's what's going on. All these things I can tell. This is their attachment style. This is why they're codependent, right? This is what's going on with their trauma. This is what they need to work on. This is what I need to work on. This is the reason why I'm like this way, because when I was 5 years old, this happened. When I was 16 years old, that happened. Okay, you can explain it, but you still do the dysfunctional behavior. That's what I'm talking about. If you're feeling seen right here, I want you to pay close attention, because I'm going to hold a light to the truth. The truth is that you're getting in your way. You are the reason why you're not moving forward. And that might be confronting, right? That might be like, oh, how dare you, Jaden? I get that. That's fine. But we need to be really honest about what's going on, because I don't want you to be stuck in this trap. I was stuck in this trap for a long time until I realized what I was doing. And I realized how I was holding myself back. And really what it all comes down to is safety. Safety. When we're someone who appreciates knowledge and likes to teach ourselves, likes to be self-taught, that is an actual way of survival. It's a way of protection. It's a way to keep ourselves really safe. And this is where the problem is. Now, I'm not here saying education's not a good idea. It's a great idea. We really need it. But what I'm saying is that when we pursue knowledge, we can do it in a way that makes us feel safe because we think we're making progress by understanding. And when we do that, it gives us a false sense of security because we stay safe up in our head. And when we're safe up in our head, that's usually the safest place for us. Okay. This is one of our survival patterns, and particularly for anxious people, right? That we want to weaponize our intelligence by understanding more, by figuring things out. And it's a great way to soothe our anxiety. We want to understand things from every single angle. That's totally fine. The problem is, though, is that we, as I said, we weaponize this to a point where we trick ourselves into believing that now we've fixed it. Now we've cured it. Now we understand it so much, that's all. But what we've actually just done is learn how to put a pretty little ribbon around our trauma, around our pain, around our past. And we just keep it locked inside of our head. What we forget to realize, and this is the thing that took me a while to, like, for me to land it, is that we have a whole other part of ourselves, and that's our body. And our body is where our emotions are. And our emotions are the things that we don't really know how to handle all too well. And so we would rather stay up in our head and try and understand things. And this is where the infobesity comes from. We keep busy doing that instead of what deep down we know we actually should be doing, which is doing the thing that causes the emotional discomfort. Because if we do that, we will actually heal. We'll actually move through things. We'll actually release the pain. But we don't want to admit that to ourselves. That's a really scary prospect. And so what we do instead is we learn something to the nth degree, everything we possibly can, and we think that will solve it. But really, you're going to be honest with yourself right now. Like, let's be real. It's not solving anything anymore. You've passed a point where you've learned too much. Okay. And now it's just diminishing returns. We need to stop, shift gears, go back and say, okay, I need to actually do the thing. I need to get out of my head and down into my body. That's really scary because you've learned to retreat from your body and stay in your head because your head's safe. You have more control over that than you do in your body because your body's bringing up all these emotions you don't know how to handle. That's a really big deal. What I'm here to say is that you have got to learn to be uncomfortable. You've got to face the pain. So what does this look like? Well, instead of saying, oh, I know my attachment style, I know I'm anxious, preoccupied, I understand that, these are some of the patterns that I do, right? Like this is just who I am. No, it's not who you are. Your anxious attachment style is actually a survival mechanism. It's a byproduct of your trauma and your environment. So what you actually want to do is learn how to stop being anxious. That's what you need to do. Not in theory, not just understand it, but do the actual things that stop you being anxious. Like learning to not send the text message, learning to regulate your nervous system, learning how to hold back and not speak when you've got this urgency inside of you, learning how to not seek reassurance, learning how to reassure yourself. This is what we need to do. It's like you want to learn how to ride a bike. So what do? You watch YouTube videos on riding a bike. You get a book on learning how to ride a bike. You understand the history of bikes. You understand where the tires are manufactured, what metal they use in the bike frame, how the greatest bike cyclists, go on the Tour de France. You learn everything about the bike. You learn everything about nutrition, about exercising, getting those really thick quads, right? You understand the best bike paths in your local town. You know about all the bike groups that go around and all that sort of thing. But you haven't ridden a bike yet. You see what I mean? Like, you can learn all of that stuff, but you know this much about bikes until you actually get on a bike, until you actually pedal, until you feel what it's like, how sore your butt gets after riding for so long, to feel what it feels like to run out of water when you're going for a long bike ride, to realize you've gone too far and then need to learn how to come back, to test your limits, to understand your stamina, understand how your legs work, right? All these things that you get to experience only for you personally when you feel what it's like to ride a bike. So it's the same here. If you want to learn about setting boundaries, learn a little bit, but then go set the boundaries. Go practice. Practice communicating. Practice making a mistake. Practice messing up. That's how you do it. That's how you grow. But if you just know theory, you know nothing compared to the person who's actually in there trying. That's the big difference. That's what we need to understand. So this here is to make sure you're fully aware that if you're gorging on information and that you're still feeling stuck, it's not the information's problem, it's your problem. It's an execution problem. It's because you're not willing to take the next step to be uncomfortable because you're stuck in your comfort zone. You're stuck in your head, and that will never keep you safe. You've actually got to go out there and get things done. That is the only way you'll move. Feel the fear and do it anyway. See you in the next one.